Okay, so Sony did a really out of the blue thing and basically announced the PlayStation 5 controller. And well, here it is. This I think they announced it first on Twitter, but it's also on their blog here. And this was released today, literally a few minutes ago. But yeah, it's got people obviously talking, and the thing about it is that well, here's an Xbox controller, which basically will look identical as the Series X controller. There's the PS5 controller, and there's a PS4 controller. And yes, this is clearly a PS. It's essentially closer than ever to being like an Xbox controller. So obviously stuff we knew, it's got USB-C for charging and syncing. But I guess looking at the controller itself, I'm going to say this immediately, and this may be, my thoughts may change because I haven't obviously held it, but I don't like it. And the reason I don't like it is generally I don't like the ergonomics of the Xbox controllers. I've never liked the Xbox controllers in terms of their ergonomics. Not that they're bad. I'm not saying that they're bad, but I much prefer the ergonomics of a PS4 controller. It's just something I've been used to. The PlayStation 5 controller. I mean, to me, the PS4 controller was essentially the perfect controller for me. Now, this is and isn't an issue at the same time because there's word of basically the PS4 controllers are going to be compatible with the PS5. And essentially, there's no reason for them not to be anyway, because you can see the buttons are exactly the same. All of them are the same. Essentially, a couple of the icons are different. And notice, actually, I've just noticed this. Look at that. Yeah. Even some of the icons are looking more Xbox like than they were before. But essentially, we've got the same things. We've got on the bottom here for headsets, probably on the bottom. Look, there's something else they've changed, which is a bit odd. For one, the main colours are black, it's white, which is interesting. I mean, it's black and white, but yeah, that's interesting. So a hint towards what the actual console will look like. So most likely this time around, the main console's going to be white and not black. Which is normally what Microsoft does, actually. But this time their main console is black. I mean, the original Xbox One was black, but the Xbox One S is, white, and the original Xbox 360 was white. So it's interesting that they're doing that this time. But the thing that I don't like they've done that they've changed is all the buttons, the square, triangle, and circle, they're now just all the same colour. They're just all grey, which, to be honest, I really wish they'd kept the colours because it's just something that I've liked, and plus it's something recognisable. I mean, that is one of the few things that has kept the same throughout the beginning. The D-pad, I don't know, it looks about the same. The analog sticks, they don't look. I don't know if the texturing looks slightly different on them. And the PlayStation button is also slightly different as well. But the speaker and that is there. The touchpad looks slightly larger, but also the control itself, it just looks more, I don't know, squared or more boxy generally. It doesn't have essentially what I would call the handles on the side, and that it's less of that, and yeah. Yeah, but we're just going, into the blog itself. We are excited, an exciting milestone with the PlayStation 5. We are starting to ship our new controller in its final design to developers who are implementing its unique features into their games. But first, we wanted everyone in the PlayStation community to look at the DualSense. Yes, DualSense. It's not DualShock, it's the DualSense wireless controller. Now, DualSense, that is obviously talking about the sort of haptic feedback motion sort of sensors in it, I'm assuming. So with capacitive more syncs and interactions with the virtual worlds and PS5 games, the DualSense, along with the PS5's Tempest 3D audio tech, will deliver their new the PS5 long stacks is talking about the PS5 whole controller. We decided to keep much of what gamers love about the DualShock 4 intact, while adding new functionality and design based on discussion with developers. Essentially, to be honest, a lot of people, I know a lot of people love the Xbox controller, and essentially, this is this is not far off an Xbox controller. Essentially, this is like a hybrid between the PlayStation, the PS4 and the Xbox One controller. Essentially, this is pretty much just a hybrid between the two of them. And I'm just like, ooh, why? I don't know, because I mean, I'm not too angry if, if they still do keep the PS4 controller support. I won't be too mad if I can still use my PS4 controllers on it. I mean, the feel might be different when I get it in hand, but I can just kind of tell by the look of it, because it looks like an Xbox controller. It really does. Like, seriously, it does look, the shape of it looks like an Xbox controller. And that's clearly where they've taken the inspiration from. And this is obviously the final design of it. So, also does this mean we'll be getting PS5s, this year? Well, I'm imagining probably as well that if they're not, as long as as long as they're able to, load so many, then I imagine so. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of it. Just flat out not a fan of it. But anyway, let me know what you think below of it. If you like it, if you don't. I mean, I don't hate it. I'm just disappointed because, to me, we went from essentially, in my eyes, personally, the best controller to a step back. And I know it's different. I mean, if you grew up on an Xbox controller, then this will be perfect for you if you are considering a PS5. But if you're like me and you grew up on the PlayStation side of things, because the PlayStation controller has remained very consistent. I mean, for one, it didn't really change much at all throughout the 90s. I mean, basically, as soon as we got the DualShock, essentially the design didn't change at all until the PS4. And yeah, so here we are. But anyway, that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.